Happy Monday to my beautiful coffee beans out there in the ether. You guys can't hear the music? Okay.
Hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot.
Is it echoing?
Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate.
Perfect.
Afloat, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, really gon' rise to sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Yesterday the sound setting, it was because I didn't set up the thing right before I went live, and I did it while I was live, and today I fixed it before I went live, but it had all the settings from yesterday when my audio was all messed up. So we had to get it all figured out. I expect that to be the case when we get on to our show for today. I'm going to try to get through this. I've got some time constraints today that need to be addressed, and I've got to get some things filed. But I'm leaving. I'm going to be going to the memorial service of Charlie Kirk in Arizona. And I've already made the plans. I've already got the plans already down. So really today, if you guys would like to do positivity statements with cash chats or whatever, super chats, But everything that we'll be pulling for today is going to be funding that. It's already paid for. It's not like I really need you guys, but if you guys would like to support, you're more than welcome to. It's not required, obviously, but absolutely always appreciated. So I do appreciate each and every one of you, but wanted to let you know what's going to happen because we're going to have a lot of live shows on the road. And we're going to be in a situation where we're going to have technical issues and stuff like that. So I want to prepare my channel now because those that support, when we go down, you got to stay in the chat, okay? I mean, you can leave the chat and come back. That's fine. I don't mind. But when I'm back live, I want to see your faces, or at least your names. I can't see any of your faces. So it's nice to see you all this morning. Good morning. I hope everybody's doing well. We're going to be going over a lot today, but we're going to try to pack it in 2 hours or less. So I'm going to get going. I'm going to try not to talk too much over it. I've got it planned. I know that this is an interesting case because my email hasn't filled up this much with our audience commentating than it has since Sebastian Rogers. There hasn't been another case that we have come across where I am getting keep them coming. I'm not complaining whatsoever. I'm reading them. Sometimes I can't, if there are videos that you guys see and send to me, if they're over an hour, I'm probably not, thank you. I'm probably not going to watch all of the hours. So if there's a specific topic within that you're wanting to draw my attention to, please do. I wish I could watch. Some of them I do. Some of them do draw me in, and when I have some downtime, I'll put it up on the TV and watch the whole thing as I'm cleaning or as I'm cooking, so I'm listening to it. But that's few and far between because I'm always researching. I do a lot of research, but you guys know when these lights go off, I am a advocate and an activist. So I'm always on social media, working. And that's what people don't understand. Yeah, we're here for true crime, but that's only a portion of my job. It's only been a portion of my job since I've come out here. Many of you guys know that. But my job really is affecting change around this country and finding laws and abilities to get this this crime wave we're dealing with under control. And that has been the focus because we've watched we've watched things that we've never seen in our lifetime. I mean, who in the world puts criminals back on the street? Okay? I mean, we're living in times we've never lived in before. It's as if they want American people hurt. And I can't for the life of me figure it out. But I think we're getting a little bit closer, and I can tell you that the team that is working on this is relentless, and we will truly get to the bottom of this. And we are working desperately around the clock to eradicate whatever is going on in this country. Wherever this hate-filled rhetoric, this, this stuff that puts my life in danger, your life in danger, we can't have that kind of stuff going on, okay? I don't care what part of the aisle you're from, but we cannot have that kind of stuff going on. It's putting our lives in jeopardy, and it's only a matter of time before we're going to have people in our chat affected by these terrible policies. We've been fighting against them for a really long time, and now this has met its max capacity. We, as a society, can no longer take any more. So we've got several choices before us, and we do. I'm trying to do this the best I can because the hate that was dwelled in my heart for days, I don't like that feeling. That is not who I am as a person. We are bold. We speak our mind. We are fearless in that front. But the actual reservation and the space in my heart reserved for hate never existed before September 10th. Truly existed. Yeah, I don't like people. People have made me angry. But pure, undeniable hate resided in my heart. And, I've had to do a lot of soul searching over the last few days, trying to figure out where do I personally go from here? Do I let this hate consume me? Or do I take that, turn it into something else? Something like passion to make sure nobody hurts like that again. And use that for positivity? Yes. Am I going to shut my mouth? No. Am I going to tone the rhetoric down? Not until it comes to an end. But I have to do something constructive with all of this anger and hate. I think I put the hate to bed, because we have to realize that these aren't real. I mean, they're real people, but these are people that are demonic. Something has gotten into their soul where they cheer for the death of an innocent person. That is demonic. That is evil. Okay? It's evil. And I want to make sure that I'm not inviting evil into my home. Okay? And that is exactly why I made the statement I did yesterday. We've shed, 70, 60, 50, or 50, between 50 and 70 people from the show, from people that tuned into the show. I don't think they support the show. We know that all the faces and names that are in here that support the show and support me are here every single day. Okay, so I don't really worry about, things like subscriber numbers. Do we want to grow? Of course we want to grow. But we've always talked about that foundation in which we grow on, and that foundation has to be strong. And I do not want evil creeping into even my channel. So we have to stand bold in our faith. We have to say, no, we're not going to accept this. And no, we're not going to accept the people that act this way, because we're here on a mission to end violence, and we cannot support violence within the same breath that we are condemning violence. There is no way this channel will ever support some kind of messaging like that. And anybody that has a messaging like that, you do not belong on this channel. This channel is a Christian channel. We don't always act in a Christian-like manner, and I understand that, but it doesn't change the focus that we are a Christian channel. We believe in God Almighty. We believe that He is our Savior. And everything that I do has been built on that. All of my activism, every blessed bit of my activism has been built on God and the Word of God. We have spread that here on this channel. We have brought a lot of people over to God with our advocacy on getting people back into church on Sunday, where I'm physically there in church with you, making sure people see me. Have I struggled with my faith? Yes, I have. Have I seen all of this and wondered why God wasn't doing anything for us? Yes, I have. Have I cussed God? Yes. Yes, I have. And for me to say otherwise would be a lie. I've had a lot of struggles over the last 2.5 years with my faith because of what I was seeing and how could this be. And for me to sit here every single day and lie about that when a man stood in conviction and lost his life for it, what kind of Christian would that be? What kind of Christian would that be? So without further ado, I want to make sure each and every time you come here, you realize what you are signing up for. And I beg those that align differently, that don't have that kind of love in their heart, maybe this isn't the channel for you. And trust me, I got thick skin. It's not going to hurt my feelings, okay? Because we only want people here that have pure and clean hearts. Even the ones that make mistakes from time to time. I am not a perfect person, and that is part of this platform. Removing the stigma of perfection. And why do I do that? Because I believe there's only one perfect being. That's why. I want to make sure officers aren't perfect. I want to make sure your politicians aren't perfect. We stand on here all the time. I don't say it like that, but there's a reason why I drill that in everybody's head here. Right? We're not perfect, and it's okay to be different. It's okay to be unique. We love uniqueness. We have love in our heart, whether we believe in lifestyles or not. We're still going to cry with you. We're still going to hold your hand. We're still going to hold you up. But what we cannot do is allow ourselves to have that hate, which I harbored for days. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I was out of my sorts. I'm angry. Anger does a lot. Emotions drive a lot. I want people to wake up and see, and I don't think I'm going to stop until they do. I'm sorry this man, this beautiful soul, had to lose his life for America and the world to wake up. But you know what? God works in mysterious ways, in ways we do not understand. And I have to believe that in all of this. I forgot one more thing that I was supposed to do when I got here, and I just realized that the most important job that I have of setting this up, I didn't do. There we go. All right, let's get started. Because you guys are going to be in for a ride. Tell me if you guys can hear this.
If you still hate President Trump after everything he's done to clean...
Can you guys hear that? Because I need to, if you guys couldn't hear me playing that, then I need to change this thing on this one too. Yes, you guys could hear. See, it's weird, and it's got monitor off on all these. I don't get what the heck is going on. Whatever. This program's a little hinky. Okay, this program's a little hinky. I will tell you that. Good morning, everybody. I see all you beautiful faces. Nancy, Crystal Pistol, Cynthia, Frank, Alcoholic, Little Orange Man, Pebbles, all of my beautiful mods, Faye, Lisa, Mike, it's nice to see you. They do. And I think that is the point. But I expect the rhetoric, not to this extent we'll get into those talking points, but I expect rhetoric coming from our opinion or from our politicians, because let's face it, people want this certain thing, and other people want this certain thing, and that we send them out to argue those positions. But we want them to do it professionally. We don't want them radicalizing people for violence to force it. We want the will of the people to be heard. And if the will of the people even goes against what I think is right, if it's the will of the people, I'm certainly not going to hurt anybody. We do what we do every other time, right? We wait the 4 years and pray to God that we can do it better next time. I mean, that's what normal people do. I just want to make sure that we understand that. That's what normal people do. We lose a thing. We don't go riot and burning people's houses down or anything like that. We kind of sit here and say, well, shit, that kind of sucks. Now we got to deal with come on, we've all said it. Now we got to deal with four more years of this bull crap, right? So that's what normal people do. We're not living in normal times is what I'm trying to say. I love people. I love both sides. I've sat here and stood here for 5 years telling you that. We've worked very, very, very well because those are the normal people. Those are the normal people. We're not dealing with normal people when we're dealing at this level. We're just not. Okay, I'm done. I got to shut up if I'm going to get this done in 2 hours. So...
If you still hate President Trump after everything he's done to clean up this disaster, then maybe it's not Trump who's the problem. Maybe it's your loyalty to ignorance. He took on the deep state, he fixed the economy, he secured the border, and he's still fighting for you. So ask yourself, are you mad because he's cleaning the mess, or because he's exposing who made it? Thank God we have a real leader. Thank God we have Trump. If you still hate President Trump after everything he's done to clean up this disaster, then they're mad because he turned on the lights in Washington, D.C. And now the cockroaches are scrambling. The lies, the corruption, the dirty deals, all exposed. Trump didn't just walk into the swamp. He lit it up. And the deep state, they've been running scared ever since. This is why they fear him. This is why we stand with him. They're not mad because Trump broke the rules. They're mad because he turned on the lights in Washington, D.C. Okay. And now, the
cockroaches. We got a lot over here on the streets of YouTube, I can tell you that. We got a lot. Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate that. Bless you, bless you. Yeah. And just to let you know, for the people coming in, it's not expected, but it's definitely appreciated. I am going to this memorial, whether we raise money or not. But if you guys would, I know everybody says, "Hey, you should have told us, maybe," So I try to incorporate you guys in on it. But if you guys would like to help, please do. If you don't want to, enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. It's for you.
Look, she's just the extension of the universe.
I just want you guys to hear this man's wisdom because he's such a beautiful light and a beautiful soul. And I want people to know who Charlie Kirk was. He deserves that.
Look, she's just the extension of the university system. This is what's so frustrating. I tried to tell people in the higher levels of Republican leadership 3 or 4 years ago, there will be Marxists running the Democrat Party in the next 10 years.
Right.
And they said, oh, Charlie, you're overreacting. I said, no, I'm on these universities.
Amen.
I see what they're producing. It's worse than ever. And look what's happening. Ocasio-Cortez, a decade ago, was getting indoctrinated about America being an evil, homophobic, racist, terrible country. That's only going to get worse. There's another 1,000 Ocasio-Cortezes waiting to come in the lecture halls right now. And if we don't do something about that to raise our generation of freedom fighters up, we're going to have a big problem. Look, she's just the extension of the university.
Yeah, I mean, and that's it. I didn't even. Oh, thank you, Eeyore. I didn't even think of it like that. But like we're looking at AOC, and we have to remember she was brainwashed. Okay. We have had, and we're going to get to it. Thank you. Oh, you guys are so sweet. I appreciate it. And we got a new member too, Miss Lee. Thank you. I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate everything. Thank you. Thank you so much. And we have to look at that. All of our young leaders that went to higher education, they're being indoctrinated in the droves. Let's talk about that. You guys are so sweet. You guys are so sweet. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys. But I wanted you guys to hear this because this is Kari Lake. Now, this is somebody, again, I've known for quite some time. I've seen her on the campaign trail. I've helped support her to try to become, a cabinet member. Actually, the VP. I was rooting for her to be the VP for Donald Trump. I really thought she was a strong leader. And you guys know how I feel about women in leadership. Unless you have brass, you know what? You're doing a disservice to your country at this high of the game. I see a lot of people in Congress that, in no offense, don't misunderstand what I'm saying, and I'm sure I'm probably going to offend some people, and I apologize in advance for it. But when you have a job like being a congressman or congresswoman, okay, it's okay to have families and be pregnant and have children, but for you not to do your job because you have a child, that goes against everything I believe in, because I truly believe if you want to stay home and raise your children, you should be able to do that. But you cannot sit there and complain that you're not home with your children while running this country, which I heard a lot of just a few months ago. And I'm not down like that. Okay, I'm a female. I have a lot of female friends, women across this country that go to work each and every day. They don't get that opportunity. But they're forced in the marketplace because they have high costs of living and can't take care of their children. So I'm not willing to kowtow or make things different for our politicians than what we have to live with in real life. If you want to change that for yourself, change it for everyone. That's how I believe. I'm sick of the haves and the have-nots in this country. I believe in capitalism, and I believe there's always going to be somebody better than me and better than you and better than Bill Gates and all these other elitists. There's always going to be somebody bigger and better, okay? No matter what part of the world you get to, there's always going to be somebody bigger and better. So I'm not a sexist. I'm just reasonable, okay? How many women got the opportunity to argue with their boss to bring in a daycare to their job? It ain't happening, okay? You should live, you get paid a lot of money in Congress. People get paid a lot of money. They should be able to take care of their own caregiving without it being saddled on the American people, just like the American people have to do every single day. Hush, hush. Kari Lake. This was the most powerful, in my opinion, of all the speakers there. Now, Anna Paluna, she was Luna, whatever her name is. She gave it a very emotional, and I know she was very close with Charlie Kirk as well. But this one was, in my opinion, strength. It showed her emotion, it showed her passion, but it really did tell us everything we need to know. And what I'm going to tell you, we're going to end up finding, because I'm doing a lot of research. There are hundreds to thousands of me that are doing the same type of work on different areas. And the stuff that we're finding is, and we're sending it over, so don't worry, we're not bringing it to social media. There's a lot here. There's a lot here. Okay, I'm just going to forewarn you, when the truth starts unraveling, you guys will be sickened. Absolutely sickened. KARI.
Oh, wow. Charlie, you can still draw a card. And I know that if Charlie were to be told, wow, you filled up Kennedy Center tonight, he'd say it wasn't me, it was God. It was God. Boy, I miss Charlie. I will say that he'd have a couple criticisms tonight. He'd say, where are the smoke machines? Where's the confetti? Where are the sparklers when Bobby Kennedy took the stage? Because Charlie knew how to put on a show to spread the message of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
He really did.
I'll be right back. I'm going to get some coffee.
You know what, there's in the book of Genesis, there's a Bible quote that says, in so many words, it's actually a little easier to understand if I put it in modern language. What the enemy meant for harm, God will use for good. And God is using Charlie Kirk for good. I'm heartbroken about Charlie's loss.
Oh, thank you, Dragon Lady.
31. And somebody took his life. I got the call on Wednesday. I was working. And a friend of mine called and said, is Charlie okay? I heard he was shot. I said, Charlie who? Couldn't have been Charlie Kirk? And I got on, of course I went to Twitter, like how many of you went to Twitter?
Everybody.
Went to Twitter, and I saw a clip of people running. And I thought, that doesn't look good. That doesn't look good. I knew Charlie was starting up this amazing movement where he was going to go campus to campus to talk about America and what's happening in America, which is so amazing and so powerful. And talk to people who disagreed with him, debate them. There's nothing more peaceful than that. Our first clip I saw was of people running, and I thought, that looks bad, but of course, everything's going to be fine. And then I saw another clip. And it was Charlie being asked a question.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And out of nowhere, an assassin's bullet came through the crowd and hit him in the neck. We saw his head. We saw the blood, and we saw him go down. We've got to stop this, folks.
Yes.
We can't let this go on. This violence has got to stop. It's got to stop. And I'm not going to say our side is perfect, but damn it, this is coming from the other side.
Amen.
How does a 22-year-old become so filled with hate? 5 years earlier, I was told he was a Trump supporter. And we sent our kids off to college and they brainwashed them. I am making a plea to mothers out there. Do not send your children into these indoctrination camps. Don't do it. Do not do it. At one moment, that 22-year-old who shot Charlie was a baby in his mother's arms. And by all accounts, those parents did a good job raising him until he was sent off to be brainwashed.
You, River. That's sweet.
We have lived through the most horrific brainwashing campaign in the history of mankind.
Amen, amen, amen.
And the very fact that we're all here means we have somehow survived it.
Amen.
We've survived it.
That gives me goosebumps. That gives me goosebumps.
But too many youngsters are not surviving it. And we got to stand up. Because some things are non-negotiable. Our children's minds and futures are non-negotiable. Charlie Kirk came to my house several years ago with Erica. They had just gotten married. I remember asking him about their beautiful wedding rings that were they were made specifically for them, matching rings. Although I will say Erica had a beautiful cascade of diamonds around hers. Charlie, good job. You did a good job with that. And they hadn't had children yet, and my children joined us at the table, and it happened to be the day I invited them to dinner. It happened to be, by the grace of God, the day that President Trump gave me my first endorsement from President Donald J. Trump, which is pretty special. Which, by the way, thank you, Charlie, for helping us make sure President Trump won this time. We got to give him some thanks for that. Charlie's 25 years younger than me. I'm not going to have you do the math. Please do not do the math. If I catch one of you with a calculator on your phone right now, I'm going to have the security guards take your phone. 25 years younger than me, and I was so excited through dinner, I kept saying, I got the endorsement, Charlie. And he finally said, stop. Enough celebrating. Let's make the next plan. What's the next step? And for 2.5 hours, Charlie gave me the best political advice of anybody in the world. I mean, better political advice than you could get from anybody who had 60 years on him. And then when he left, he said, from now on, I thought this was great. He said, by the way, from now on, your first name isn't KARI. Your first name is Trump endorsed, and your last name is KARI Lake. He said, use that everywhere you go. I know we don't have a lot of time. There's so many good speakers tonight. This is a battle between good and evil. I wish we could compromise, but you can't compromise with evil. You can't compromise with evil.
Thank you, Sonia.
Charlie didn't go to college. My daughter didn't go to college, and said she went and worked for Charlie Kirk. And she quit about a year ago, and Charlie said, I heard Ruby quit. And I said, well, she's taking your advice. She wants to get married and start a family. And he said, well, that's a pretty good reason to quit. So I miss Charlie already. I know all of you do. I know that you're comforting your children. You might be comforting one another. But I just ask us all to step up and be strong. Charlie had a shirt when he was taken from us. Do you remember what that said? Freedom. We can't have freedom without faith. And I believe that Charlie will live an even bigger life after Wednesday than he would have before Wednesday. And I hate to say that because I miss him. But God is using him in such powerful ways. Charlie is not dead. He's got everlasting life. He's got everlasting life. I tried to sleep in today, and my beautiful, wonderful husband brought me coffee in bed, which is the best thing ever. Find a good spouse, please, everybody. If you're not married, find one that loves and supports you. And I was reading I got on Twitter, and I happened to, one of the first things I saw was from Tyler Boyer, who we love in Arizona. He is Charlie's right-hand man at Turning Point Action. They're trying to put him in prison, by the way, because of his support for President Trump.
Yeah, we don't have political prisoners.
This fight is not over, not by a long shot. We're here today fighting because Charlie and many people before Charlie gave us the courage, but it's not going to be easy. If you think it's going to be easy now, if you're really willing to stand up and fight, it's really going to get harder. They're going to try to cancel you. You're going to lose friends. How many of you have lost friends? Raise, keep your hand up. How many of you have been canceled? How many of you have been lawfared? I need 3 arms. How many of you have been deposed? Subpoenaed? It's not going to get easier. It only gets easier when we meet the Almighty in heaven. That's when it gets easier. But until we do, we've got to be up for the fight. Before I leave tonight, I want to read you something that Tyler shared on Twitter. He said, please take the time to look through these posts. It was a woman who had said, how many of you are going to go to church tomorrow because of Charlie Kirk? And there were 805 posts as of Saturday night. Today there were about 8,000 posts.
Yeah, we know whose party that is now.
Charlie's going to
got
be
the
remembered
message
for
loud and clear.
politics, but he's going to be remembered most for bringing people to God. Let me just read a couple of these because they moved me to tears today. I'm going to church because that's exactly where Charlie would want us to be, said one post. One post said, my husband and I are going to try diving into this journey with our children for the first time ever since Wednesday when Charlie died. Another person said, I just bought a Bible. I haven't been to church in 10 years. My body hurts, my brain hurts, I need rest, and I only know one way to find it. Another person said, I bought my first Bible on Friday. First Bible I've ever owned, and I'm finally seeing the light of it.
So she goes on to say, but as you guys get it, he was just an amazing person that had faith in God. So what in the world happened? How did we get here? Well, it is very clear that it was due to brainwashing. It's very clear that the brainwashing, remember, the conspiracy theory that we were told how lunatic and lunacy we are. And now the proof is in the pudding that no one can deny except people that just choose not to look at reality. But these colleges and universities have been wreaking havoc on our children and throwing them out into the world without an education. Many people have $120,000 that they have to send back to the schools for their crap education that is getting them no jobs and nowhere, and they're working at Starbucks. That was the promise, and I don't think that was it. They were just using the system to find students that they could manipulate. It is that sick, and it's globally. Exactly. It's globally. This is no longer conspiracy theories, folks. You just watched somebody that went from normal to a homicidal maniac in less than 5 years. That's not normal. And nobody can make a normal mind justify it. There's no excuse for it. None.
We have to be careful. When we attack people, we have to be careful.
You mentioned Charlie Kirk, sir. What organizations on the left do you anticipate?
So they're talking about the organizations on the left, like the transgender.
Well, the problem is on the left. If you look at the problem is on the left. It's not on the right, like some people like to say on the right. The problem we have is on the left. And when you look at the agitators, you look at the scum that speaks so badly of our country, the American flag burnings all over the place, that's the left, that's not the right.
Do you plan on investigating?
We'll see. We'll be announcing. They're already under investigation.
Already under investigation.
You know, they're already under major investigation. A lot of the people that you would traditionally say are on the left.
So they've got a lot of people right now under investigation. Okay? A lot of people. This goes from, in my opinion, they're looking at a lot of different facets here. Now, I'm just speaking on my personal opinion. I'm not speaking on any facts by any stretch of the imagination, but it is my opinion that they are looking into the ties with these Antifa and transgender organizations. We've also found ties to Al-Qaeda and other things posing as transgender to create alliances. So now we have foreign people also being involved. And then it's also going up to the politicians and the judges. And so they're looking at the financing right now, in my opinion. They're looking at the financing of these organizations. They're looking at the people involved in these organizations. They're tracing, they're following the money. It's my understanding that there is a riot, that the money ended up coming from that Jeffries guy. He's like the head of the Democrat Party on one. We did find ties to him with at least one violent protest. So there is a lot of stuff going on, in my opinion, at a higher level than what we on social media are being able to uncover, because they've got the internet, they've got their programs for the dark web. We've got people right now working on the dark web that are social media. Social media, that's how we're able to find all these people and where they work to get them fired. So we're already on the dark web as well, working this angle. But the bottom line being is there's something seriously going on here. And I have a funny feeling that this is going to reach, I told you guys several different names at the beginning of this case, and I absolutely believe those names will be brought up somewhere along in this investigation. They're smart, but I don't think they're as smart as we the people, because we're not the government. We're more ruthless. We'll pay the money to get whatever we need from the dark web to prove our case if need be. The dark web has everything. They have our profiles, they have our text messages, they have everything. It's a scary place there, I will tell you that. I'm not going to go through it, because I don't need you guys having a panic attack. I will tell you, there is sites that have everything about us. And you can pay money to get that stuff. It's not illegal, in all fairness, it's just not. People sign your privacy rights away when you have things like TikTok and Instagram and other things. That's why it was so important to get the TikTok under control, because most of the stuff that we're finding is from the spying on TikTok. They are in your phone. It's scary. I get it. But you guys do not know what TikTok takes from you guys. They take your locations. They take your text messages. They take your app times. They take your messages in those apps. You've basically given TikTok carte blanche to your entire phone. And I just want to make sure that that's clear. I have TikTok myself. I'm very, very cautious about what I do and what I say on my personal phone. I've got different computers for that, right? So I've got this computer here. I've got my Windows computer. Very little do I have related to app-based products on my computer, especially my Windows. That Windows computer is pretty much stripped. It doesn't really hold a whole lot. And I use that when I'm on the road traveling, because it's a lighter computer. But the last thing I do is do a whole bunch. You guys know I don't really talk on my phone. If you guys talk to me, I always get you guys to send me emails, because that's really how I communicate with my public. I don't communicate with you guys by text, messenger, DMs, and all that other stuff. It's because I do have these apps, but I do value my privacy, and so I protect my privacy. But there are people right now completely under investigation. Yes, this shooter did physically act alone on that campus, but this is a much broader and larger net, and you guys need to pay attention to it. This is not conspiracy theory. I don't care what they're telling you, that this is conspiracy theory. This is not a conspiracy theory. Our federal government does not look into conspiracy theories, okay? They investigate. So this is what our government is saying. This is what the law enforcement is telling us. Okay, these are coming from the highest sources of sources, right? This is not some right-wing nut, journalist, independent journalists. This is coming from our police departments that are investigating this. These are coming from the investigators with boots on the ground that are telling us this. Okay? They're telling us this child was indoctrinated in our schools and turned into a murderer. That should scare every parent across this country. Every parent across this country. You cannot afford to have these social justice warriors in your elementary schools, in your middle schools, in your high schools, or in your higher education. You do not want this to be your child in a few years, do you? If this is what you want, keep going down the rabbit hole you keep going down. You will get exactly what you think you're not going to want, or that you want. You're going to get exactly what you think you want. And then when it's knocking on your door and you're like, this ain't what I wanted, it's too late. It's too late. Keep your kids, if you can homeschool your kids until we figure this crap out. I would be pulling every single student from higher education right now. I would be making them go completely online inside my home where I can make sure they're not turning into homicidal freaks. I do not trust our government.
So a Fox News alert, we're learning chilling.
And if you've noticed, that's exactly why I helped put somebody that was not government into that White House. This is what we needed. If we were going to keep putting same politicians in our White House, we would keep getting lied to. That's why they tried to assassinate this man twice. They knew he wasn't playing, and so did the people that supported him. This is what we wanted. We wanted to find out what the hell was going on, and then this happened. This is like the golden goose. You guys don't even understand. This is the golden goose. What had to happen, again, might be a gift from God, and we have to acknowledge what we're seeing before us.
New details about Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin and what he did immediately following the shooting.
So it comes as officials revealed the suspect is refusing to cooperate with the authorities.
Garrett Tenney joins us live outside of the Utah County Jail with more. Good morning, Garrett.
Good morning, y'all. We have learned that Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin is being held in a separate unit here at the Utah County Jail and is under special watch to make sure he doesn't hurt himself or others before his first court appearance tomorrow. And as you mentioned, the suspect is not cooperating with the investigation, but Utah Governor Spencer Cox says other people close to the suspect are cooperating.
He has not confessed to authorities. He is not cooperating.
I want to tell you guys something before we hear him. I agree. I didn't know about Governor Cox. I know I don't like a lot of Midwestern. I think Nome was the only one that I actually had high regard for. And what was the lady's name in Alaska? Palin, Sarah Palin, I think is her name. I really had high regard for them, but I don't really have, the Midwest is a mess, period. It's a mess. But he's about to go through here, and I want to clarify some things because everybody keeps, even like Fat and Opinionated, which we're going to get to one of his opinions. I didn't really watch it completely through. I'll watch it with you guys together, and we'll have commentary on it. But for what he's about to talk about related to him not cooperating, but people around him, everybody keeps saying, why isn't the boyfriend in custody? Well, he kind of is and isn't. He's not in physical custody of law enforcement, but he cannot go anywhere, okay? If he does try to go somewhere, they will most likely arrest him. He can move around the state, but that's to the extent they probably don't even want him out of the county. He is cooperating, but it doesn't mean fully cooperating doesn't mean that he's not involved. It just means that law enforcement went in his home heavy-handed and drug his ass out of there and placed his ass into a seat and said, you do not want to mess with me. We need to have a conversation and you need to open your mouth. You lied to me. We're taking you straight to jail. Okay, I can tell you that's exactly how they would have spoken to him because he's younger and they needed to take authority over that. Now, somebody that's a little older, that may be a bad strategy, but that's the strategy that would be used on somebody that is 20-something years old. Okay, and so now he's singing like a bird. They have never acknowledged law enforcement. Now, some statements in newspapers, but we don't trust mainstream media. Mainstream media is garbage. They should have their license pulled. They should be sued in the droves in class action suits for lying to the public and causing this mental illness across this country. But they're the ones that are saying that he has no involvement. I have not heard a law enforcement body come and speak. Like you'll hear Cox. He will keep and maintain that this person is cooperating, fully cooperating, but he's not saying that he had no part in this situation. I think they're utilizing all of these people and getting as much information because there is a behind-the-scenes cabal that has been working against America. Is it America-born or is it foreign-born? It took a lot of Americans allowing this to happen and turning the other cheek intentionally, like the Democrat Party. But they've been protecting these people. They've been allowing these lawless people to get in trouble, wreak havoc in our country, do these lawless things, and walk out of prison without even having a bond. Do you see the orchestration? They gave them the green light to create mayhem in our country. Those policies are only designed to create mayhem on the streets in our country because what idiot would put violent criminals on the streets with normal citizens unless you were intentionally trying to create havoc? There's no excuse. None.
But all the people around him are cooperating, and I think that's very important. His roommate was indeed a boyfriend who is transitioning from male to female. He is cooperating with authorities as well.
See?
Investigators are also trying to put together a
cooperating. Cooperating doesn't mean without without a complicity. It just means that they're cooperating. They're singing like a bird. Okay? That's all it's saying. Do I anticipate more arrests? I damn sure do. I damn sure do. Trust me, I'm not just over here, applying pressure to these Democrat politicians. I'm holding the feet of my own politicians. I'm keeping their feet grounded too, because I'm out there yelling at them, how dare you put us in this danger? How dare you turn the other cheek and say that this is just political banter back and forth? You put us all in danger. You put Charlie Kirk's life in danger. You diminish the threat. You diminish the threat. So that was from our side. And I anticipate and plan on springing that up every chance I get, because I want to apply pressure to our politicians to say, we ain't buying your bullshit either. Either do your damn job or get the hell out of office. I'm done. I told you guys that last week, even before Charlie Kirk happened. I'm done. And this has only solidified my commitment to being done.
From the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, as investigators work to understand what led up to the shooting.
Utah's governor gave new details on the shooting suspect. NBC's Both Do Your Mom joins us now with the latest.
And more on that in just a moment. Good morning, Dave Medina. President Trump now asking for $58 million, by the way, to boost security to help protect the executive and judicial branches. That notice to Congress also says it supports additional security for lawmakers who remain on edge after that assassination. As for the suspect accused of killing Charlie Kirk, authorities...
Isn't it funny now all the freaking Democrats that created this are like, we need security, security, security. Well, you lawless SOBs put all these violent criminals on the streets with we the people. We don't have security. I hope Donald Trump gets security for his members and his members only. You fuckers created this situation. You can sit in it. You can sit in it. That's where I come from. Excuse my language. I'm going to tone it down. They created
Authorities say he is on special watch status this morning, and the motive has not been confirmed. As crowds gather to pay tribute to conservative activist Charlie Kirk, charges are expected to be filed Tuesday against the alleged shooter, 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, says Utah's governor, Spencer Cox.
He does come from a conservative family, but his ideology was very different than his family.
State records show Robinson is not affiliated with a political party, nor did he vote in the two most recent general elections. Kirk was critical of transgender people and trans rights. And Governor Cox says Robinson disliked Kirk and his viewpoints. part of the pieces of information gathered during interviews with loved ones, including the suspect's former roommate, who was also his boyfriend.
A boyfriend who is transitioning from male to female, so we know that piece. I will say that that person has been very cooperative.
But he says that's not the case with the suspect, who's not cooperating. The governor adding the roommate had no idea about Robinson's possible plans. Meanwhile, in Washington,
trying to calm the nerves.
The unease around security for members of Congress continues as some cancel events or move them indoors.
When Charlie Kirk was shot, I said to somebody immediately, that could be you or me.
Plans for a massive memorial are underway for this Sunday, and it's expected to draw thousands, including President Trump.
We're going to be going to Charlie's, I guess you'd call it a funeral. There's the small one. I said, can we do the big one? Because we're going to give him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is a big deal.
The movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen.
Kirk's wife spoke publicly for the first time, calling her husband a martyr and vowing to continue his legacy, which has gained even more support after his assassination. Now, Kirk's influence spanned internationally as well. Backers of Kirk responded at U.S. embassies in Europe and Africa these past few days, and some world leaders also chiming in, calling him a friend and inspiration.
He had contact with world leaders. He wanted to bring peace to the world. He was killed for wanting peace in the world. I want to let that sink in. This is something that we all have to take very, very, very seriously. They silenced him because he was changing the world. That's why.
Of Tyler Robinson, we're ready to speak with us. Miss Kristen Schwerman, can you hear me okay this morning?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about your relationship with Tyler. How well did you know him?
Tyler went to the school I was a head custodian at. I was at that school for 18 years. I know all three of his brothers also.
And one thing I want to ask you, is this something, I'm so sorry to cut you off, is this something consistent with who you know him to be?
No, no, the kid was smart, quiet. He never caused any problems.
Are you shocked by this?
It was a shock. Oh yes, I am shocked. Very shocked.
What can you tell him about us? What can you tell us about Tyler Robinson? You said you've known him for quite some time, as well as his siblings. Any kind of characteristics or anything that you could tell us and share about him?
You know what I know about Tyler is he was always very quiet. He was very smart. He had just a real mellow personality. Never caused any problems.
And I want you guys to remember what we learned from Mr. and Mrs. E Crimecast. If you guys have not went over and subbed them up, they do a lot of true crime. Mr. and Mrs. E, it's Mr. E Crimecast. They're the crime dogs. And we learned that higher educated people, smarter people are more poised to be in cult-like environments or moved. They're easier to convert to a cult-like mentality. It's statistically proven. So I just want to put that out there because this is one thing we're finding across the board with all of these lethal people, these lethal young people. They were very, very smart. Somebody's poaching those people, manipulating them, turning them out.
Like I said, he was smart and he kept to himself, and I don't know who his friends were as of now.
Is there any chatter in your neighborhood right now? I know you said you're shocked. Are neighbors having any conversation about Tyler?
Oh, yes, I'm sure. I haven't been out too much this morning. I've talked to a few people, but those people haven't lived here long enough. I've lived in the neighborhood for 16 years, just as long as they have. And I'm sure everybody in the neighborhood's shocked because most of these people have been here forever and know him as that kind of kid I did.
And has there been any activity at the family home this morning? We know there is a heavy police presence right now at Utah Valley University, but in your neighborhood, is it business as usual, pretty quiet, or is there an increased presence of law enforcement?
There's a little bit of law enforcement, a lot of news. The neighbors are out walking just to see. Their house is quiet, but their house is always really kind of busy on the weekends and early in the morning when they leave for school and
Sounds
work.
like a normal family.
And Kristen, before we let you go, talk to us about, have you been following the Charlie Kirk shooting, the murder here at Utah Valley University, as the rest of not only the state, but the...
Do you? I would never have thought that you really like that channel. It's great. I love seeing it. It's nice to see you.
nation, and then to find out this morning that in fact your neighbor Tyler Robinson was arrested in connection with this shooting. What are your thoughts as we go back from Wednesday to where we're at now?
I did watch the press on the shooting pretty much all that day. My grandson happened to be at that rally.
Hey, Seth.
And then this morning, my son texted me and said, hey, this is Tyler Robinson that lives 3 doors down. And I'm like, no, it can't be. And it was. And it's shocking. That's not who's in our neighborhood. And I feel for his mom. I love Amber. She's a great mom, and he has a great dad.
I feel bad. I feel bad for the parents. But they also knew something was going on with their son. Over a 5-year span, he did an about face and they did nothing. Now, granted, in all fairness, do I think that they meant that they thought this would be what happens? No. What I find out with a lot of parents is they truly don't know what to do. When they're faced with not wanting to be, the problem is our society tells them that they're overreacting, that kids should be kids, even though their gut is telling them something is seriously wrong. So they end up taking them to, say, a psychologist. Now the psychologist that's DEI, right? This is a whole organization. This idea that the Democrats didn't know what they were doing is bullshit, because they did it to the law enforcement, the laws to let these animals out without bonds. They went into DEI to make sure that all the corporations were forced in this psych op brainwashing crap that if you got out of line you'd be fired, because it's all about this diversity and equality and inclusion crap, the brainwashing of our American citizens. People don't realize what they have done. This has crept into our hospitals, into our physicians, into our schools, into our Congress. It's sick. We've got freaking nuts that don't even realize they're nuts. They think they're normal. I can promise you, if you have this type of hate in your heart, you are not normal. You are not normal. And I beg of you, if you did, only you know truly if you were happy when Charlie Kirk was unalived. Only your heart can tell your mind whether you were happy or said good. And if you did, you've got work on yourself to do. It's not normal to think that way. We don't dance even when our enemies lose their life. Why? Because human life is valued. And if you're not valuing somebody else's human life, somebody else is not valuing yours. And that is a scary place to be in, where a whole bunch of people don't value the sanctity of life. We have to get back to God. We have to get back to the good of this country. Because I'm telling you, if it keeps going this way, there are going to be some problems, and I'm going to warn people right from this microphone. We've been successful back in the 1800s, and if it gets to that point, we will be successful again. I pray to God it does not get to that point. I pray to God it does not get to that point. I pray to God that enough people wake up and realize what's going on, that they start being part of the solution instead of part of the problem. But we definitely have something in this country that has got to be fixed because it is broken. And it starts with each and every person's heart across this country. What kind of heart do you have? If you said you celebrated or you were happy, then you need to go and figure that out. Because I'm telling you, that is not normal. That is not normal. That is not normal. All lives matter. All lives. Even the lives in the womb. They all matter. They all matter. So, radicalized. Multiple Democrat militant trans men in the area posted on September 9th, something big will happen to Charlie Kirk tomorrow. It was a planned hit in full support from several left militant groups. And those militant groups have direct access to our politicians. I'm going to take a few minutes for this, and then we're going to get on. We're starting to move through. I got about 40 minutes left, so I'll try to get through this.
That is continuing to happen, that we become more galvanized in this condition that we all share together. I can't tell you how much hate I took from the online community. Now, obviously, nobody from the interview room, but the fact that people are still lashing out over an individual who only his power was the ability to communicate. And the fact that he had that ability, I think we all need to step back and realize he was killed for it. He was killed for his positions. He was killed for free speech. And that really strikes at the heart of America. And I was talking to some kids 18 to 25 years old, a variety of different, personality types. And there are, some were conservative, some were Christian, some were not Christian, some were not conservative. And a lot of them felt that this is a changing moment for the ability to maybe talk. But what was really interested is there are some, sadly, that felt this has galvanized them as much as it's galvanized those who adored and listened to Charlie Kirk. That's a sad state of affairs, I would submit to you, in the United States and probably in the world, because I know in the UK there were tens of thousands of people, if not more, hundreds of thousands that came out onto the streets in support of free speech and in the messaging of Charlie Kirk. And I know that happened all around the world. And so he was a force. He was a powerful force for good.
Amen.
And that's why I wore this flag tonight. We can all be a force for good, but it is a choice. And one of the things that I'm going to show you tonight were the choices that were made. Are they the right ones in relationship to the totality of what Tyler was hoping the result would be? I want to submit to you two principles tonight. The first being that we're all in this together.
Amen.
There is no right, there is no left, there is no Republican, there is no Democrat. We are all human beings. And the fact that I have shown over the last couple of days, real time, you know, pieces of this young man's life, people were hating me for that. And I guess that's the point.
And you know what? And that's why we stood on our convictions on this show and said, hey, we have a mission here. Our mission has been clear since we developed this show. Our mission has always been victims of crime and ending the violence on these streets. We have amassed a lot of people for that calling that want to put an end to this, that do, posters and all types of stuff, that we've come together as a big, strong family to get out there and do good in the world. And this right here is the sanctity of everything that we do here on this show. We are loud. We say I have a bullhorn in front of typically a murderer's home, telling him I know he murdered whoever the person, or she murdered whoever the person is that I'm out in front of the house for. We thrive on our freedoms of speech here. And something was stolen from all of us, not just the Republicans. When you can go out there and speak your truth and be happy that somebody lost their life for speaking it, that is not a them problem. That is a you problem. And then you want to condemn people that are talking about it. That's why I put my stuff out there. If you want to leave, leave. Because the only people I want here that are here for the calling, that are here to make a difference, that are sick and tired of the evil, that are sick and tired of the crime, that want to make truly a difference and get legislation passed to protect all of us. That's what this show was developed for. It wasn't to be just true crime. It was to show you that these are all solvable and they're all preventable. And we need to find the solution to prevent. So if you're not here for that, if it's really a R and a D problem, or a Republican or a Trump problem versus them problem, this is not the show for you. We value Trump here. We value the Republican Party. We value God here. We value ending lawlessness and responsible crime laws being passed to put the bad guys away. And a lot of people can't stand that. They can't stand taking ownership for the mess that they created. They can't say, I'm sorry, I'll do better. They would rather just unsubscribe than have to listen to what they've supported. And I'm fine with that. To each their own. To each their own. I happily shedded 60 subscribers yesterday. Happily. Because they're not for this channel. And I can guarantee if they unsubscribed, they were never for the cause to begin with. Right? This is the kid asking the question. I gotta say, while I don't believe that I believe he's also indoctrinated, he's still very docile. He still can say, I believe this and he believed that, and I was looking forward to the debate. He was the one asking the question when Charlie Kirk lost his life. And you can hear he's a sweet kid, he just thinks differently. We're okay with that. We're okay with people thinking different and being different. What we don't like is somebody force-feeding it and telling us we need to change because they want to be different. There's the difference. There's the difference. They don't want to change to our way of life. They want us to change to their way of life. And we're saying, listen, just live your way of life and we'll live our way of life. And that seems to be the problem. That seems to be the problem. But this child here, I'm going to call him a kid because he's a child to me, right? He's an adult, but he's a kid to me. So this child here, he was up there. He was probably mortified by what he yesterday and gained at least. Aw, thank you. I appreciate that. So, you know, we've got this kid here. Again, I'm gonna play it. I don't want you guys being rude because everybody's entitled to their opinion. We stand on the First Amendment. He's saying what he means what he says, and he's not even saying it mean. He was actually looking forward to debating the great debater. You know? And it's sad. And he lost his opportunity to debate the great debater because of some crazy lunatic that was indoctrinated. Okay, so let's go here. I think you guys need to go. Motivation for attending. I think you need to find his motivation for attending. Let's listen to this.
I make videos on Charlie Kirk, and I made this video about the statistical analysis on trans shooters.
Ironic.
And sort of the point that I was trying to make was that it's sort of a statistical outlier, that they're extremely underrepresented when it comes to how peaceful they are. Obviously, that question, pretty ironic given when it was given. Yeah, so I mostly came in there because Charlie's very open about having some sort of dialogue or some sort of conversation that, you know, he believes in engaging. And I'm pretty on the record of how much I disagree with him, but I do definitely respect how much he's willing to platform voices to ensure that, you know, at least some semblance of a good conversation can come out of it.
And not only that, he puts these people, Charlie Kirk has amassed millions of followers, millions. And he gives these people here a platform as well because he brings them all up. And he lets their faces be seen. He lets their message be heard. Where in a normal conversation, their message may be drawn out or drowned out, and Charlie's message may be drowned out, right? So it gives the opportunity to have that open dialogue. This is just a great man. The world on the left doesn't realize the damage that they have done, the true damage that they have done. And they will never own it. They will never apologize for it. So the only thing that we can do to make them understand is hold each and every one of them accountable. Accountable publicly, accountable legally, and criminally. That is the only thing that these people get. They don't get anything except consequences because they've gone without consequences for a decade. Now it's time for them to have the consequences. I want the consequences now more than ever. So now you know why he was there. Let's get to here. Recap of conversation. Here we go.
So,
could you give us kind of a recap of how that conversation with Charlie went?
Sure.
Yeah, this is working. Hey, Charlie. Hey, hopefully we're going to have a little bit more disagreement.
So it was, I came in and I said, hey, there was a shooting that happened maybe a few weeks ago in Minneapolis.
And ever since then, about 3 weeks later, the Trump DOJ said that we should start talking about revoking gun rights for transgender Americans. Now,
and I'm sorry, after this last brazen attack, I think we need to be looking at something like that, right? We have, there's something going on, and I'm sorry if it violates somebody else's rights, but I'm sorry. I don't know how I feel about this. I believe in the sanctity of guns. I believe in the Second Amendment, but, it scares the hell out of me that we have a radicalized niche of transgender militants with guns. It scares me.
Do you think, you agree with this? Is that a fair assessment or something like that? And he said yes. And then I said...
So, do you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Too many.
And I said, there's 5. And I said, do you know how many shootings there have been? I think maybe my memory's a little hazy. I haven't rewatched the videos, honestly. But it was something like this, which I knew the answer. It was a little under 6,000. He said something like, we need to account for gang violence. And I think I was like, I was in the middle of saying, great, did you run a statistical analysis on that, right? Like essentially saying you have the burden of proof. And I think I was in the middle of saying that when he.
I want you guys to understand. You guys see that, like, he's a normal boy. He's a normal boy that thinks differently. I fundamentally disagree with some of the stuff he says. But does that mean this nice kid deserves to be wiped off the face of the earth because I fundamentally disagree with his positions? You know? It just doesn't make, like, like, he seems like he's reachable and approachable, and he seems normal, just has different ideology, you know? But he seems like a good kid. He seems like a good kid.
When he got shot.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
I went down pretty immediately, and everyone near me, everyone in the rest of my line, who I'd been talking to for the last like few hours, dropped down with me. I remember, I have a brother who was in a school shooting, and I was talking about the distinction between these. That, like, for me, it was, there wasn't as much fear as I think I would expect, because I recognized like, I think I was a lot more logical than I thought I would be in that moment, where I was like, that's an assassination. He is the target. He is the only target. I am freaked out, but I know that I'm okay. Whatever.
There was no second shot, therefore, you know, people weren't, you know, running. And if you guys remember, I mean, in Butler, PA, when that happened, nobody ran. You know? I'm sorry. The Republicans are not the party of cowards. Okay? They're just not. They're just not. I'm deeply moved by the events that happened. I'm angry at the events that happened, but I am more committed than ever at making sure whatever we just witnessed never happens again. And each and every one of you have a duty to do the same. You have a duty to do the same.
So, yeah, they drove off in his car, the dog.
This is one of the neighbors.
The time you saw them, or this week?
It was about the time I saw them, so.
How long ago was that?
I would say about 2 weeks ago.
And so they looked like they were a couple?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was dressed all in black?
Yeah, definitely.
All in black.
And you thought he was weird?
Yeah, I definitely, yeah.
What was weird about him?
So don't tell me the parents didn't see the signs. Okay, I believe the parents did see the signs. I think what we need to do is we need to have some type of pamphlet to instruct parents of what to do when they start seeing the signs of their children taking a terrible turn in life. You know what? These are adults now. You know, this is where we need to start changing our laws, because if any child under the age of 24 is living at home or is in school, they're still the responsibility of their parents. Therefore, their parents should still have decision making in their adult life until they're on their own, because they're the ones funding it. And we're in a situation where we've got these kids that are over the age of 18 where the parents can't really do anything. And we need to change that. That's the aspect we need to change. We need to remove that and have some type of law that extends the parents' ability to control their children until about 23 or 24 years old. Then when their child's acting out, then they have the ability to Baker Act them or send them somewhere to get help. Right now, we're stuck in a very precarious situation where we have kids that are still kids living at home with mommy and daddy that are still dependents of mommy and daddy, but they don't have any rights to say anything about their medical stuff, their anything. And I don't think that's right. We need to find that's an area that we need to be working on, in my opinion. An area. Let's listen to the rest of what the neighbor has to say.
Just the way he walked and just the way I've seen him. I've never seen really anybody dressed all in black with a mask on, and I thought that was just quite weird.
For those who've never seen the roommate, describe that person for us.
He did have freckles on his face. For the haircut, it was a weird haircut. It was kind of a mushroom shaped one. I would say he didn't come out much, but definitely a few other, just a little bit at a time.
There's some published reports out there that this individual, the roommate, may have been transitioning. Did that correlate with what you saw?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so he was going to have an operation to be.
So what they're going to find out is that they were, seen in public holding hands, kissing, stuff like that. But I think the most important tidbit of information out of this particular interview kind of supports the indoctrination theory, because both of them didn't really come out of the house very much. So they're sitting in the house, talking, spewing hate online in their ecosystem, in their little bubble with all the other people that are in their bubble, and they're just. I really think that this whole situation, and somebody explained it to me, and I think it has a lot to do with social media. Now, was it intentional or unintentional? I'm unsure. But the social media algorithms are done in such a way that they only see, when you're interested in one spot, they keep feeding you that one thing. So if you're looking for a coat, next thing you know, you got advertisements for a coat from this company, that company, that company. Everything that you start seeing all of a sudden becomes a flippin' coat. Well, it's the same thing when you're looking in and doing research. If you're researching down one rabbit hole but not the other, all the content for your page is coming for that content that you're seeking out. It's not giving you any alternate theories or alternate sides of it. And so you're in your mind, you're thinking all these people agree with you, not realizing there's another 83 billion people out there that probably don't. And so I don't know. I think that this is some of the weirdest times. So, Ryder Corral, 19, just arrested for vandalizing Charlie Kirk's memorial at TPU SA headquarters. He was wearing the same shirt as the assassin, as many of you guys know. If you haven't seen it, here is an article from Fox News. And we got a video, and there's the guy. I think they did right. I think a couple people.
I do a lot of Zoom.
Oh, let me get
and so
past
I
the
really
commercial.
have to have the internet.
Okay, let's get through this. I do not like Spectrum, just a FYI. I like Fios, just my personal experience. I was with Spectrum for 15 years, and I was chomping at the bit to leave them for 15 years. So they're not getting any kind of kudos from me. All right, let's get this up.
Spectrum.com/save.
So here's where the guy comes right there with the shirt, and he just starts stomping on it. Oh, let me keep playing it. I forget. They do it this way. Hold on. And so they ended up taking him and grabbing him, and there you go. Boom. Boom. You don't want to. I'm telling you. Listen, you little soy boys. Let me just, whether you like my language or not, I'm going to call you a little soy boy. You don't mess with MAGA. You're lucky that you got the man, okay? Because you don't want to mess with MAGA women. All right? I hate to tell you, the MAGA men are probably a lot less violent than some of us. Because if I saw that, I would probably, I'm just being honest. I'm emotional about this. If I would have physically saw that with my own eyes, little boy, I would have ripped your pants down in front of God and everybody and whipped your ever-loving ass. That's what I would have done. Democrat, a moderate Democrat shared this. It's incredible. My liberal friends are completely oblivious about how radicalized the last week has been for tens of millions of normal Americans. No clue. I'm not talking about people who were online. I mean regular, everyday Americans, normies, people who scroll through Facebook posts and Instagram reels from the Dutch Brothers drive-through line. political moderates who have water cooler chats about Okay, Mom, if you're online, Mom, I'm live. I'll have to call you back. Political moderates who have water cooler chats about I can't even pronounce that, touchdowns and Bon Jovi concerts, not Twitter threads or Rachel Maddow monologues. Millions of them, tens of millions of them are logging on. They're engaging and they're furious. I'll be candid. They blame you guys. They blame the left. Regardless of whether you believe it to be justified, they think you're the bad guys here, and they are reacting accordingly. I can already hear some of you racing toward the comments and starting screeching in moral indignation. So I'm going to be blunt. Shut up and listen to what I'm telling you. Your movement will lose any semblance of relevance if you do not develop some small measure of self-awareness. And absent someone force-feeding you bitter medicine, you guys collectively lack the humanity to do this on your own. Here are the facts. Tens of millions of Americans started the week seeing a 23-year-old blonde woman, a young woman, whom virtually every parent watching pictured their own daughter stabbed in the neck by a career criminal. These people then stood out the murderer. People found out the murderer has been released from jail 14 times. Fact 2. 2 days later, tens of millions of Americans watched a video of Charlie Kirk get murdered speaking to college students. Millions of these people knew who Charlie was. Millions of them did not. Upon seeing the video, however, these normal Americans from across the land and across the political spectrum agreed that he was the victim of a terrible, fundamentally unjustifiable crime. And their hearts broke in sympathy for his family. Good people who had never, ever heard the name Charlie Kirk before wept. Fact 3. Immediately after seeing the footage of a peaceful young man get shot in the neck, these same people logged on to Facebook and Instagram. Remember, we are talking about regular Americans, not perpetually online tweeting or blue sky users, and saw some of their local nurses, teachers, college administrators, retail workers celebrate this horrible crime, not just defending it, but cheering it. These are all facts. You may not like the implication of these facts, and we can certainly debate the underlying cause thereof, but indisputably, they are nevertheless factual statements. Here's what it means for you, the Democrat reading this. These normal, middle-of-the-road, non-political citizens just became politically active. They realize that the politics care about them. They realize that politics care about them even if they don't particularly care about politics. After watching Irene, I can't pronounce her name, Irina I can't pronounce her name, and Charlie Kirk both bled out from the neck. They think their lives and physical safety of their family and the bedrock of human society and the foundation of Maslow's hierarchy of needs depends on political activation, whether they desire it or not. Millions of people. These people are now sprinting, not jogging, not walking, but racing to the right because they blame you guys for everything that just happened. When they see footage of DeCarlos Brown stabbing a Ukrainian refugee to death, they don't see one demon-possessed man. They picture every university administrator, HR bureaucrat, DEI, whatever that is, that ever lectured them about systematic racism, the carceral state, or they need to release violent crime suspects without bail in the name of social justice. They then think back to the conversation they had with their cop friends, their buddies from high school, who quit the force after being tired of being called racist, their friends at the local YMCA who vent about having to release career criminals because Soros-funded prosecutors aren't willing to file charges. They realize everything the left has told them over the last 5 years has been utter bullshit. And then they blame you, because even if you count yourself a moderate Democrat, your party supports the district attorneys, city council members, mayors, and the left fictitiously concerned about your medical health. Racial justice supersedes the real concerns of family safety. When these Americans see blood erupt from the side of Charlie Kirk's neck, they don't just see a martyred political activist. They think of every extreme leftist they've ever met who called anyone on the right of Hillary Clinton fascist, constantly joke about punching Nazis and bashing the fash. They realize that they really do exist. They realize that there really do exist people who wish to see them dead for their moderately conservative political beliefs, their Christian faith, even the color of their skin. They ask themselves if the violence visited upon Charlie might one day show up on their doorstep. And they blame you, because even if you're at the just a center road liberal, you lack the courage to police your own rank. You let modern day Maoist red guards run loose. I wish people would use. I'm college educated, but I'm not smarter than a fifth grader, folks. Lose every facet of society, and what started with social media struggle session has now turned into 30-06 bullet holes. When these Americans log in on social media and see their neighbors justifying, celebrating, glorifying murder, they realize that some who walk among them are soulless ghouls at best, literally demon-possessed at worst. These people, whether they are faithfully attend church every Sunday or only attend with relatives once a year on Christmas Eve, started talking about things like spiritual warfare. They implicitly understand that no normal human being casually celebrates the mortal demise of a peaceful person. And then they blame you, because even if you condemn Charlie Kirk's murderer, they probably haven't seen you condemn those in your movement who cheered it on. They view you as complicit, allowing heartless fellow travelers to celebrate death, and it repulses them. All of these situations, what's your response been? Nothing but bullshit. We got a button for that.
Warning, bullshit alert.
You guys can read it. You see the direction that that's going. But this is going to be the last one we're going to be able to play for today, but I think it's the most important. We still have several more. Let me just make sure there's nothing else I want to, as absolute, the need that I need to show you guys. Oh, I did want to do Fat and Opinionated. Yep, we're not going to have time for that. Okay, so Fat and Opinionated, we're going to take a few moments, and then I think it's this one. We're going to go out with this one here. Okay.
Suspect. But in the Charlie Kirk case, and it doesn't even feel right saying that. It doesn't feel real. But in the Charlie Kirk situation, my focus right from the get-go was not on the suspect. I knew that they would catch the guy eventually. My focus right from the get-go has been on who else knew. because it was clear as day that people knew that something was going to happen to Charlie. From the reactions from some people in the crowd to the fact that there was just so many people online hinting that they knew that something big or something bad was going to happen to Charlie. There were multiple social media accounts exposed, literally in the minutes and hours after Charlie got hit. All of these social media accounts were getting exposed for hinting about something happening. Well, fast forward to today. The big breaking news this morning is that the suspect, Tyler Robinson, was living in an apartment with his trans partner, a guy by the name of Lance Twiggs. Now, once this information came out, the internet does what the internet is going to do.
Yep.
So the internet, along with myself, we all started digging into Lance Twiggs's sounds weird.
Oh, we went over this yesterday. We all
started digging into his social media accounts.
I grabbed the wrong one.
And boy, oh boy, let me tell you, Lance Twiggs' social media accounts really blew the door off of this entire story.
And you know what? One thing I didn't say, we did play this yesterday. We know that it seems like the pathway to the Antifa and the transgender militant stuff is coming from the boyfriend, and we all know the boyfriend's not in jail. We all believe that he has some knowledge, even if he's lying to the governor. It sounds like the governor's a little pushover. Don't know him, but a lot of the people that I highly respect do not like the governor of Utah. So just throwing that out there. I think we're hyper aware of what the situation is here. You know, we've got a problem in this country that needs to be fixed, and you guys need to protect yourself. Keep your kids out of the higher education for now. I don't think it's going to be like this forever, but there's no need to risk your child until the schools get under control. It seems like Trump, saw this before it was coming. As many of you know, this is why he's been attacking all these policies. He was trying so very hard to prevent something like this happen, and it wasn't enough. And now this is where we're at. So here you go. I want you guys to listen to this. Gentlemen, this is going to be the close, and then we'll close out the show.
Charlie Kirk had a lot of opinions. And among those opinions was his opinion that being a white, straight Christian male was under attack in this country. Now, this video is not to debate with a dead man's opinions. This video is to talk to who he was talking to and to talk about what to do in the aftermath of his death. Now, there has been, and there's going to continue to be, a lot of shit throwing on the internet around his death and around what happens after his death. And there's a whole host of young men who look just like me, who were either direct fans of his or knew of him tangentially and thought he was fine, thought he was harmless, just a guy sticking up for himself and his way of life. Now, these young men for the last 7 or 8 years have been being told that they are under attack for being straight, white, Christian men. And they have now had that fear confirmed for them in the most traumatizing and shocking way possible. Now, if you are one of these young men and you've made it this far into listening, please listen to me now. This war that we are throttling towards full speed is the war of our grandfather's generation. These old rich men in control who want violence, who want the masses to slaughter each other. These men are our only enemy. Who profits when we have riots? Who profits when the stores burn down? Who profits when we turn our backs on our brothers? Corporations profit. Private equity profits. BlackRock profits. BlackRock profits every time a bullet is fired and every time a store burns down. This culture war that they're sparking is being used to tear this country apart for their profit, for their gain, so that they can continue to profit off of our suffering. These people will profit when they shoot you, and they will profit at the hospital when they stitch you up. Companies like BlackRock and Palantir are set to make trillions off of the impending collapse of our nation. They're planning for us to tear each other apart. They are planning for us to turn on each other and make this culture war a civil war. I am begging you, please, for the love of God, for the love of our neighbors, for the love of whatever, Do not take the bait. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, and brother, we are all sharing an enemy. Charlie Kirk was killed by being used by the same enemy as a divisive tool to split our nation in half. He was killed because he was a tool used by the elite to split us along culture issues like race, like sex, like gender. The only issue that matters is the corporations at the top and the rest of us at the bottom suffering while they sip champagne and they laugh at our fear. Your enemy isn't across, your enemy is up.
Very, very, very powerful message. Very, very, very powerful message. And it's what I have been screaming from this channel for a very, very long time. Again, we only get political on this channel to affect change for our crime laws and things like that. But this is something that's taken on new meaning because, again, we are a true crime channel, and this is the most prolific criminal case in our lifetime. It's a murder, a homicide of a gentle man with a huge presence. This was an attack on the very foundation of what America is. And I agree because, to be honest with you, I'm one of those people that I'm just done. I just want to get out in the streets, beat the shit out of each other, winner takes all, right? But again, I'm feeding into what the demon and Satan want for this country. I want peace. And sometimes peace is through strength. And sometimes that strength is pretty brutal. But if we can reach enough normal people out there, we can unite ourselves and be a front for change, because I have to think that we're all kind of doing a lot of soul searching. I can tell you this little girl right here has done a lot of soul searching over the last few days because I was so angry and I had so much damn hate in my heart. And you know what's driving me? I am active on Twitter every day, all day long, every chance that I get, every chance I'm not working on another project, every chance I'm not working on, holding my own personal politicians here accountable. I work. I'm trying to set up small groups in Tennessee and Kentucky. I work. Okay? I work. And I'm popping my head up and I have to stop myself because I'm angry. I'm angry. You guys see me come here and you guys, I have my rants and raves and I get loud and I inspire you guys and I rile your emotions up and get you guys moving for the causes we need to move for, whether it's finding a kid or, locating a suspect. We do a lot of great work on here, but it's all about riling you guys up. And this time I'm having to rile myself down because I'm so angry. I'm hurt. I'm angry. So that has to be put out somewhere. I can put it out in hate, or I can find my path forward, my best path forward. It's not going to be, I'm not Charlie. Charlie resides in my spirit, right? But I'm not Charlie. I don't have that in me, okay? I'm not one that I'm abrasive. That's what Bullhorn Betty is. I'm abrasive. I attack the issues. I'm unapologetic. We if you're not offended on this show, at least some part of our relationship, I'm not doing my job. We get loud on here. I get loud in the streets. I get loud in front of suspects' houses. But at the end of the day, we have a calling that's bigger than ourselves, and it's to put this nonsense to bed. We're going to have evil across this country. We don't need to be breeding evil into our people. We got enough of it as is. So I'm going to ask every good-hearted person, you guys see what your party has become. You're going to have to make some personal decisions for yourself. Because they're trying to shut down our government. They're trying to make us pay. In every sense of they're trying to make us uncomfortable to live. This is all from the left. Okay, you guys can sit there and be in denial. I'm not going to sit here and try for I'm looking for the people that have opened their eyes and opened their ears. I'm not looking for the people to convince. I'm done trying to convince people to do the right thing. Now I'm looking for the people that know to do the right thing. Because I believe there's a lot more of us out there than it is twisted, demonic mindset. And we have got to go to the ballot boxes. We have got to vote this shit out. You know where it's coming from. It's the Pelosi's, it's the Schumers, it's the Jeffries, it's the Warrens of the party. The AOC and all of them have to go because they're just mentally effed in the brain because they are indoctrinated. They have been brainwashed. There is nothing good that's going to ever come out of them. Ever. They've got to go. You want to restore? You want to vote for a Democrat? Get them out of office. Get a normal Democrat in their place if you must. But these people have to go. On our side, Rand Paul, Tom Massey, McConnell, they all have to go. They're problems. Mike Johnson? I'm not a fan. Mike Johnson needs a backbone and a pair of balls. Okay? His name should be Michelle, not Mike. Okay? Because I don't think he's got the brass nuggets that he needs to have. He needs to be throwing Omar chick out of there. People in Congress, there's people that are literally illegal in our country that were voted into office. Get their asses out of here. Get their asses out of here. They don't belong here. Until we find out what the hell's going on, remove visas. Get this whole clique of this Islamic thing going on that's going from Texas up to frickin' Michigan. Get that the hell out of here. Once we clean up America, then we'll start figuring out who gets to come back in. But get them all out of here. I'm done. When we figure out what's going on, then we'll start inviting people back into our country. But until that day, get them the hell out of here. Something's going on here, and I don't want you to be a victim, and I damn sure don't want to be a victim. I kind of like being able to raise my voice. I kind of like being able to scream from this microphone. You know? And I certainly, definitely like putting bad guys in jail. I thrive on it. I go all over this country to do it. Bye, ham sandwich. Bye, baby. If somebody hasn't deleted them, no, he created the narrative in a cunning way. He's great at cheating tabloids, stole the story election cycle. Who are they? Who's ham sandwich talking about? Ham sandwich. I don't know if you know about this channel, but we give everybody opportunities to speak. But I can tell you, in a time like this, we block people that become assholes. We even actually have a video for you. Here, let me play it for you. Just in case you missed it. We got a video for you.
Sneaky gremlins love to fight, but we're here to set it right. Jump and duck, let's take a shot. Turning trolls into what they're not. Whack a troll, whack a troll. Let 'em tumble, let 'em roll. Swing your spatula or a stick. Whack 'em fast, whack 'em quick.
Just saying. We got your kind covered too over here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. We know that the people that are in here saying nasty things are trolls. They are very miserable people. They are the people that are part of this whole thing. I just find it awfully funny that the hate channels have the same blueprint book as these trans militant organizations. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. Because we've watched the hate channels doing all of this. They did this stuff to me for 3 years. They're doing it now to BJ. These exact same things. Defame, incite, and then dox your information to their very highly politicized, crazed lunatic audience. And I've said for years, the only reason why they're doing that is to get people hurt or killed. I told you that I thought Queen Bee and Burnt Toast were trying to get me killed. And I truly do believe that. I truly do believe that. But I find it awfully funny. If you look at the behaviors of these militant groups that are indoctrinating these students into the transgender community, and you look at the behaviors of these hate channels, it's the same blessed playbook. It's the same blessed playbook. That is scary. Obviously, there's somebody in this community, in the hate community, that is also trying to brainwash and get people on to this violent rhetoric and these actions. Prove me wrong. If there's any difference in what we're seeing, I mean, except, what we're seeing in the politicals is on a much grander stage. But look at the playbook that has been played out on content creators on this platform. It's the exact same thing. Demonize, right? Incite. Put the target on the person's back. Tell them where they can find them. Right? Something to think about. If you guys, and I told you guys this for years, quit giving them the clicks and the views. Quit giving them the clicks and the views. All right, guys, that's all I've got for right now. We're already 10 minutes over our schedule. I hope you guys have an amazing Monday. Happy hump day. Oh, let me go through all of the love you guys showed and poured out for me. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Again, I am going to Charlie Kirk. It's already paid for. I'm going. But if you guys would like to help out, it's always appreciated. Never expected. So bless everyone that's in the chat helping to support this. Melanie says happy Monday. We're not trying to rush it along, Betty. If everybody wants to know, my birthday is in 2 days, okay? So the day that I'm leaving to get on the road is the day that I will be celebrating my birthday. So I will be celebrating my birthday by heading out to Charlie Kirk's memorial. Last year I wasn't able, every year for my birthday, I get out and I search for a missing person. Every year. Even Sonia has brought out cakes to my search parties, right? Every year since I've set up this channel, we have searched for somebody on my birthday. That was me giving back to the world. And this last year I was unable to because of the lawfare that was committed upon me because of these hate channels and the Proudfoots. And so I had to struggle through all that, which I didn't struggle alone. You guys helped a lot. And this year I can't search for a missing person because I am going to a memorial of a magnet in the movement that I was a part of. That is just deeply heartbreaking for me. Deeply, deeply heartbreaking for me. And it's sad. Miss Lee, Mama 3, almost 3 years, and I don't regret a single day. What? I knew it. Okay, that's the narcissism in me. Wreaking havoc. Thank you, love. Safe travels. Oh, thank you so much, Elizabeth. I appreciate it. Miss Lee, Mom of 3. She has been with me for a long time. Like I said, she's been through thick and thin. We should always tell her thank you for her service. Her husband serves. He is a first responder, so we always like to just show some love. Thank you. And she says, oops, I just hit the heart and it dropped you off. It says, when we lose someone on this scale, we grieve and then we stand up and make sure their life made a difference. We all know Charlie for standing up for his beliefs, and we cannot let that die with him. Stay strong in your faith. Oh, that is absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Eeyore Blue, for your love and your support. Thank you, Mary. I hope you have a safe trip. Thank you, Dragon Lady. Oh, so appreciated. Yes, I am tired. Sick and tired of the bullsnit. Oh, River. You know what? what, River? Thank you for that. I know you never, ever, ever do anything like that because you are always here supporting and rooting our channel on and you know, waving the flag. So this truly does mean a lot. And I just want to tell you personally, thank you, River. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sonia, happy early birthday and may get to the memorial. Oh, I'm getting to the memorial. I'm getting to the memorial. This helps with that feat, but I've already made the commitment to go. I've already made the plans. Delilah's going to Grandma's house, and she will be just fine, and Grandma can't wait. And you know me, every time I turn around and I give Delilah to Grandma, I always have to wonder, am I getting my dog back? I feel like I'm gonna have to call the police for dog napping. My mama loves Delilah. Just loves. Delilah's so much to love. She's just the sweetest little precious baby angel. And she's still got her cute little baby face, so it always makes it so much easier to love her. Happy early birthday. Oh, thank you, Panda Bear's mom. And have a safe trip. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. Prayers for the family. And we are Charlie Kirk. Amen to that. Thank you guys so much for all of your love and support. People don't realize, you know, people that are in La La Land, they don't realize who he was as a human being and what good he did for this country. Everybody's thinking, oh, why in the world would anybody why does he get all this special treatment? It's because he was a very special person. Okay? He was better than most of us. He is what people aspired to be. He was a godly man, convicted and faithful to his faith, and bringing that to the campuses and brought a lot of young people over to God. How can that truly be a threat to our democracy? How in the world could that be a threat to our democracy? It was not a threat to our democracy. It was an assault on it. Make no mistake. Trust me, I am a Christian woman, and through Christ, I have been able to restrain myself. Because I am one of those barbaric women that I'm an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, which is in the Bible. So I don't feel bad about feeling that way. But it's not going to fix the problem. We have to fix the heart and the minds of the people that are sick. The people that have lost their way. The godless people out there. The spiritualist people. Because, you know, when I was in recovery, you know, many of you guys know my history. We talk about it all the time. And I think it's very important because I like to inspire people that you can make a lot of mistakes in life. You can be at the very bottom, the lowest that you could possibly go, and still crawl your way back to the top. It's a very important message that I think I share, and I try to share with everybody. I don't think I could I try to be a better Christian each and every day, but I still have vengeance in my heart over this one. And that's something I have to check myself, and I understand a lot of people do. But we have to be a nation of prayer. We have to fix the people that are broken, because there's a lot of them. We saw it with our own eyes. We saw how demonic people have become. And the only way we are going to fix that problem is hold each and every one of them accountable. To let them know what changes our way. Punishment, right? That's why we rear our children when they're growing up. You know, we rear our children out of love. That's why we discipline our children. We love them enough to make sure they have the right path. And if you are coddling your children, even when they make terrible decisions, you're doing a disservice to your children. Your children need to know what accountability looks like. So we have to hold all of these terrible people accountable. And if that means they can lose their job, I do not feel bad for it, because some of these people, this is the first time they've ever received any consequences for their disgusting, deplorable, immoral behavior. So we will not stop on that front. If you did make a post, if you did feel joy, again, I'm going to ask you to start looking a little deeper into yourself, because I think you will find there's some work you personally need to do for yourself. And I hope that if you have clear mind right now and you are listening to my voice, you do yourself the service of getting right with your higher power. Because and that was what I was getting to, when I was in the system, when I was not in the system, but trying to relieve myself of this dependency problem that I got myself into. Every time I get here, it's like I get here and then my brain goes blank. So maybe I'm not supposed to tell you whatever it is that I feel is so important to tell you, because it goes right along with this whole brain sickness. But I don't know what it's like when I get here, and this is the second time I've done it. As soon as I'm going to say it out of my mouth, it's like my brain goes blank. It's weird. It's weird. So I'll leave it at that. You guys go have a blessed day. There's so much we can all do as people, as humans, as the human experiment, so to speak. We can all get right with ourselves inside of ourselves. And whether that means you believe in God or you believe in a higher power, that is where you need to go, okay? Just start coming back to reality and finding your own personal humanity. That's where you need to be. That's where we all need to be. And wake up every day and tell yourself, what did I do wrong yesterday that I can improve today? Because it's all about making the world a better place than when we got here. And I truly believe there is more love in this country than there is hate. But sometimes we have to hold the haters accountable. And that means putting them in their place. That means saying, no, we're not going to watch this. That means blocking the people that are bringing the hate into our hearts. Every time you watch those horrible channels and you get so angry that you are ready to spit bullets, why do you keep watching them? They are instilling hate into your heart. Reject that. Reject the temptation of looking under the hood. Because we don't need any more hate in our hearts than we already have at this moment. We need to find ways to relieve some of that anger and that pain and that hate. So you guys find your own way. When everything else fails, open a Bible. All right, guys, God bless and have a great day.